It's amazing.
Moon shoes.
Just
And we're live.
bouncing down the...
Hi, everyone.
Welcome, everybody. We are here on the Defenders of Kobold, ready to play some basic fantasy RPG. We are back on our weekly game that we run bi-weekly. And there are things exploding on my computer.
Oh, no.
Let me stop that.
Explosions.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But last time we raided a magic shop, or you guys rather raided a magic shop. And kind of hilariously, so I hadn't planned on you guys stalking the owner home and taking his key. So I thought you guys were going to completely circumvent all of the defenses of the shop. But when you relocked the door after you went inside, it triggered everything as if you hadn't got the key. So that lucked out planning wise for me, at least.
It made the
you still had
entertaining.
A little bit, yeah. You still did have a Golek with you, though, to make things a lot easier.
Yeah.
He
kind of wrecks some stuff.
He's a casty boy. But so you guys raided the shop. You got a ton of stuff, got a ton of XP. And we still actually have to sort through that and figure out how much actual money and XP you're getting. But that's not important yet because the next agenda item that you had was to track down the book. So you got the magic caster body for Golek, which you took the body of the shopkeeper. And as he demonstrated, it seems to be a rather good fit for him. Now he's looking for his book that he said he kind of offloaded his consciousness to a little bit. And that should help him remember everything and get back to where he was. Perhaps he'd have the ability to teach some spells out of it, and he'll feel better prepared to track down his apprentice, which is kind of ultimately I think your guys' goal is we were looking for Golek's apprentice because he doesn't like him. So I think where did we end last time? We ended, you guys had made it out. You barely escaped people that were trailing you out. I don't remember if you made it back to like the tavern or where you wound up for the night.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to the farm.
You went back to
Jeremy's farm. Yeah.
Yes. Your Jeremy's farm, where he's at with his dad. And you hold up there. Okay. So, while you're out there, Golek would say that when he cast his detection spell, when he was looking for his book, said it was back in town, and he has a pretty general area of where it's at. And he'd point it out to you guys.
We all have a pretty strong idea of where it's at, I think.
Maybe, yeah. And further to that, when he points out roughly on the map where it is, like we get a map drawn up, and you point it out. It's appears to be at the location of an old church that you guys may or may not have been to before.
Mm-hmm. May or may not have took that exact book to, probably.
Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? So, that's what he would point out. He's like, I think my book is here. That's kind of where my spell centered in on. I didn't get a look at like anything more specifically on how it was being held or who had it or anything like that, but I know it's in that building, or at least around that building. So,
I suppose we can take him to his book and continue on towards the destruction of the world.
I agree.
with
Let's
us
destroy
at
this world.
his side.
With us at its helm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We will
right.
become the bad guys.
So I imagine it was pretty late at the end of the last session. So I imagine you guys did a long rest and wait until morning.
Yeah.
And so it's morning time, probably like 8, 9 o'clock. You guys make your way back into the city. Are you bringing Golek with you, or do you have any particular way that you want this to plan out going into it? Because he pointed out the old church that Ingram was in the basement of.
Bring him with us, I guess. He knows things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Egram would probably be interested to meet him anyways. Probably more likely to turn the book over to him if he's there.
Okay.
Or they fight.
I'm
I
cool
don't
with
know.
that too.
Maybe a certain badger-filled future will be avoided. Or this is
Possible.
the catalyst for said badger-filled future. Who knows?
Well, so you guys make it out to the church, and this is the church that had been since replaced by a much larger, nicer church, and this has kind of been retrofitted to be a library, because it was kind of both before, but now they've just took out all the pews and things and made it into a big library. You go inside, doors open, librarian's there, but it's not open for the library part of it yet. And he's just sitting back behind the counter, and the sign for it to be open or not's still saying closed. He perks up a little bit and is about to say something to you guys. He's like, "Oh, you're all back.
Sorry.
I'm assuming still not for books."
A little bit. Kinda.
Books up here.
Probably not.
Not.
But he could tell us. He's looking for one book in particular.
And then the Golek would be back. Do you have sockets with you as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
He could probably use
Yeah.
some books too.
Golek would explain it. He's like, "Yeah, it's like a big book. I guess you would call it leather bound. It's got an eye in the middle of it." And they're like, "I don't think we have anything that looks like that, but definitely sounds like Ingram's territory. So you go see him."
Yep. We'll go see.
Perhaps someday we'll come here for books on this level.
And I'll be waiting happily for that day. As he slinks back into his chair and starts thumbing back through his book. So you guys start making your way back to that staircase that's in the back side of the back left of the library. As you're getting over there, you see there's like a bunch of stacks of paper at the top of the stairs. All of them seem to be empty, but you just see like stacks and stacks of paper kind of everywhere. And you see some of it's kind of strewn about, and
It's all blank.
all seems to be blank from what you're looking at. It's just like stacks. It looks like they've been like, they're not all the same size. It kind of looks like someone went out and grabbed as much paper as they could from anywhere they could get it. And so you see slightly different sizes, slightly different colors. And they're all kind of stacked, not as super neatly, like it's stacked out of the way as much as possible, but a little bit messy. And you see there's just kind of like loose pages all over the place that have fallen over a little bit, and they're trailing down the stairs. And
This is a little different than last time we were here, but maybe this is fine.
yeah, you poke your guys' head down the stairs, see the single torch at the bottom still lit, and a few more pages down the staircase. And you see this bright purple glow coming from the seams of the doorway, the bottom there.
Oh,
And it flickers every so often, but it's pretty bright. And it's almost like the same brightness of the torch that's down at the bottom there.
Feel good about this.
It'll be
feel good
great.
about this either.
We took a long rest, right?
All right. Yeah, you did.
We slept in a barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, all everybody. This might be some funny business here.
Mm-hmm. So you head down the steps, I imagine. And once you get
We
to the
all
bottom,
imagine, Joe, it's role playing.
Oh,
yeah, you got me. But yeah, you head down the steps. As you get to the bottom, you hear like kind of a crackling of fire on the other side of the door and some low humming noises. Occasionally you hear like the clinking of glass and the scurrying of some critter going all around the room. Who opens the door?
Maybe we'll yell at Ingram first.
Okay. So someone calls out, knock. And after a little bit, you hear a very surprised, like, who's there?
You know, that's
It's okay. We know about the Badgers.
It's
You've
okay.
met
It's
us
us.
previously.
we
It's just
brought
us.
an interesting friend to meet you.
Oh, now's not the best time, but
About the book.
yeah,
We
whatever.
can wait.
You
We
can
can wait
come
a
in.
minute.
It'll be more than a minute, but whatever. You're here. Come in.
Is there
Okay.
like cleanup time involved? What's going on?
So you open the door, and as it swings in, you're just met with this giant purple light. You see one of the tables is in kind of the center of this open space. And it's pretty much like the basement of the church that fills the entire size of the church.
Mhm.
And on this table, you see there's this big glass dome. If you think like the type of domes that you see like in science experiments that they put over like a burner or something that, you know, pockets the air.
Paper or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah. So you see like one of those over the book that you had given Ingram. And inside of it, that's where this like bright purple glow seems to be coming from. And it seems to kind of come to a point, and you see there's this like weird crystal that's sitting on top of the glass there. And scurrying about the room, you see his badger is out of the cage, and it's wearing this little leather cap. And on it has this similar colored purple crystal. It's much smaller than the one that's on the table, but you see there's this little purple crystal like in the forehead of the cap that's on the badger. And it seems to be scurrying back and forth. There's paper everywhere, all over the floor, tacked to the walls, tacked to the pillars, on the tables. And you see all sorts of this crazy black writing. And as you look at some of the pages that are closer to you, it looks like all of the pages writing has been done with the feet of this badger. And you see that it'll like run to this pan of ink on the ground, and then it'll track back over to a piece of paper, and it starts stamping its feet, making all sorts of patterns and things, as it's not even really looking at what it's doing. It seems to be kind of like in a daze.
This is
Weird.
interesting.
Yeah.
Ingram pops his head from underneath the desk. Looks like he hasn't slept in many days. You see like giant bags under his eyes. And he's like, oh man, there's a lot. in this book. I probably wouldn't want to meet who wrote it, but it's like a time capsule. There's all sorts of stuff in here that there's entire periods of history I didn't know were there. And after a little bit, he takes a swig of this orange potion and then seems to like give him a kick a little bit. And his eyes brighten up. Then he takes a piece of dried jerky from his
Has
pack.
himself a Red Bull.
Yeah. He takes a piece of some dried meat from his pack too and dips it in the potion and tosses it to the badger, who scarfs it down and then continues to scurry around.
What is this beverage? Pure cocaine.
And you see that he's got a stack of papers that he seems to be sifting through. And so some of these pages have text that's been written out. Some of them have like just symbols and images. And then you see on the table, there's like a series of images that kind of look like trying to draw a person. You see like a really rough sketch of a face, and then it starts to get like more and more clear. And that seems to be what the badger's working on right now, is this like last print of a face that's getting more clear. It's not done yet. But yeah, he's like real excited about it. He's like, this is well, I didn't really trust touching it myself. So I came up with this little abstraction layer, I guess, for Lexi here. And he points at the badger. And he's like, so they're kind of my interpreter, I guess, of the pages. It's not always perfect. We've been doing some dialing, but we're getting there. But yeah, this book was written way before any other book on Arcana I've ever had access to. In fact, a lot of the knowledge is pre-Arcana. So that's new. And so he starts kind of rambling a little bit. And he goes into what the magic users would know as the Mara. And he says, there's kind of this energy framework that's called the Mara. And when you're doing magic, you manipulate it in some way. You add to it, take from it, pinch it, twist it. Manipulation of the Mara is what Arcana is, basically. Different people manipulate it in different ways. And it looks like this book was written before people knew how to do that. So we've had a lot of artifacts from back then. They're usually pretty messed up, like this book is from before then. And it's kind of the reason why really old artifacts are usually all evil and death and related to killing things. It's because the Mara is not only the energy channel for magic, it's also the energy channel for souls and life and spirits. So the way that we understand it is probably people saw that connection between souls and the Mara first and thought the only way you could do magic is by killing people. But then eventually we began to realize there's more ethical means of tapping into it that don't require sacrifices and all that type of stuff. But what we didn't know is in this book, we thought it was just like purely a knowledge thing, but it looks like there was not a method, and there was an event that happened that made that possible to ethically use Arcana. And I guess whoever wrote this book was alive for that event.
Well, you could
And
probably talk to them then.
so I don't know if I'd want to meet him, but if I could, I guess I'd have a lot of questions for him. But he starts rambling off again. He's like, the book seems to have, I mean, it's got the eye, so it has some visual knowledge of where it was and who used to own it. So I've been trying to figure out a way to relay that to Paige, because I think it'd be fun to know what the guy looked like that used to have this book.
Okay.
You got
That
like
and
a
any other
close
information.
representation real quick? Like your closest one?
Well, Lexi should be finished with that pretty soon. Let me see what he's got. And he pulls out another piece of jerky and dips it in his potion and tosses it. Lexi runs off the page. He picks it up, kind of airs it out a little bit to dry it.
Our home slice here. Hey, like this is your book he's talking about, right?
Does this look familiar to you?
He's like, that's my book. I don't know what the hell he's doing with it, but
Okay. Yeah. Hey, man, we're gonna need that book back.
Does this face look like your face should?
He's in a different body. It wouldn't look like the same face.
But he probably remembers what his face looked like.
and so he starts airing out this page. He looks at it a little bit, and it's like, I don't know. What do you guys think? He hands it. Golik grabs the page, looks at it for a little bit. Like, yeah, this is what I used to look like. And he shows the page to you. It's space you guys have seen before.
Is it?
Where have we seen that?
Looks a lot like Athenheimer.
So is Heffenheimer his fucking apprentice?
If you remember who Athenheimer is,
I'm trying to remember.
He's the guy we worked for, right?
He's the guy that hired you initially to transport the supply caravan into Veshkal. And he's also the one that was not so legally telling you guys to go inside of these caves and things, or not caves, these dungeons and burial sites.
Yeah.
I want to ask, dude, like, hey, do you know a guy by the name of Affenheimer?
Or do you have like some family or something?
You asked that to Ingram,
Yeah.
or do you ask that to Golik?
Golik.
Both.
Golik. He's like, no, I don't know anyone by that name.
Okay.
But
Well,
it's definitely me. That's what I used to look like.
The guy that hired us to go into the tomb where we found you looked just like this.
Hmm.
You think he stole your body?
Well, I guess I don't know how my body would still look the same after all this time,
Fucking
because
magic, man.
I mean, from the history that you guys have given me, we're like several thousand years out. But I guess I was expecting him to have, taken somebody from more recent over. But if he's still using my body, it'd be cool if I could get it back. Makes me hate him a little bit more.
That checks out.
Yeah, won't knock that.
Yeah.
I'm in the corner trying to pet one of these badgers.
Yeah. There's a badger still in the cage, and then there's another badger that's running around just seemingly in a daze. It doesn't seem to be aware of you hardly at all. It's got this little crystal. That's
Every time it
blinking.
runs by, I just kind of run my hand down its back, kind of giggle a little bit. I am so not interested in any of this magic stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
Just to cut to the chase, Ingram, book owner.
And
Oh.
Golik kind of waves his hand. He's like, you don't look like the. You look like the guy that runs the magic shop over.
Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it.
There's been
How did
some
you write this book?
complicated things that have happened.
Things have been weird.
There has been a lot of magic involved lately.
Do you have some cool way to prove that this is your book?
Golik's like, I could recall. I mean, if I could touch it, you'd see it doesn't eat me like it normally does.
Yeah. Okay.
That seem fair to everyone?
Sure.
I've never seen a book eat somebody.
I
So
haven't either. I mean, either
Yeah.
way, this will either be really
Well, it's
really cool.
a crude way. It won't try to, I guess, absorb my mind as payment.
I see.
And then, I mean, you've already seemed to have extracted a lot of knowledge out of it. So I guess I know if I could recall any of the pages that you've already taken out without looking at them, maybe.
That
I don't know.
seems fair.
is my book. He's like, I don't really know how else I would prove it. But is it? He kind of like looks at it on the table. He's like, is it okay to grab it right now? What are you doing? And then Ingram replies back like, "Oh, this is just a little way that I didn't have to touch it. I know this is nasty stuff, and it's not something that's something you should interact with directly. So I kind of got this little setup here going with Lexi." He's like, "Okay, well, I guess if you want to end that real quick, I could take it back." And then Ingram seems pretty like, it seems deflated from that. He's like, I guess. And
You can just.
I'll look over at Ingram and I'll just go, "Hey, I was impressed."
It is very
He's like,
fancy.
"Thank you."
But you could just.
He
get
finishes
this
the rest of his orange potion and tosses it aside and goes over and carefully picks the crystal off, muttering some incantation as it clicks off. The badger that was like stamping his feet on the one of the pages on the ground just instantly stops what it was doing and goes back and starts going over to its like food bowl and eating, just trampling in like a straight line, feet like marking over across all the pages that are already on the ground. So he takes it off and the light stops. The book seemed to have been like suspended almost in air, like it was up on end. And as soon as he pulls the crystal off, it flops back down on the table flat. And then he goes to lift the glass off of it. Jake.
Oh boy.
The second he lifts the glass off of this book, you hear the most pained screech you've ever heard in your life, just radiating from the inside of your head. And it's a familiar voice of one that's talked to you before, but it's just crying out in pain. It's like, "Oh God, make it stop. What the He's like very, very angry.
Could you put could you put that glass back, please?
And Ingram's like, "What?" And he drops it back down. Voice stops.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Sorry, just having a little interference here with my magical aura.
Okay. He lifts the glass back up. Screaming continues of this book crying out in pain. He starts yelling like, "Save me, make it stop." As Golek walks over to the table and picks up the book. Immediately when Golek touches it, the voice stops as well.
Oh, okay.
That's nice.
And when Golek grabs it, you see the eye shut for a little bit and then open back up. And it seems to look him up and down. And it kind of squints as if it's confused. And Golek opens up the pages, kind of ruffles through them a little bit. And he kind of gazes up and off to the side. And sits there for a bit with his book. As you see his eyes kind of cloud up a little bit. And you see they're kind of like darting around almost randomly. It's pretty similar to that spell that he cast in the room before when he had like a cloud of stuff in front of him and his eyes were darting around. You see that. And after about 30 seconds or so of that, he closes the book and puts it in his pack. He's like, much better.
Okay.
Well, that was closer than I was expecting it to be. Sounds like you guys know who my old apprentice is inhabiting currently.
Possibly.
Do you know where he is at the moment?
They went to the other city on our way here, right?
Yeah, so they split off pretty much right when he got into Astrovia. and you guys went way farther north to the capital, and then he kind of broke off to the side. And you knew that he was going to basically regroup there and go back into Beshgal.
Yeah, so we could start there, and then if they're not there, follow them back.
Yeah.
Are you like still cool? We still cool?
Yeah. I'm even more angry at him, which I wasn't expecting to feel that. Feels a little weird wanting to destroy my own body.
I mean, if someone was walking around in my skin suit looking like me, I'd probably be upset too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Not
I wonder
happy
if there's
about
some
that.
way for us to capture him and put him in the skull.
Oh,
Yeah, I would think that would be possible. We just do some switcheroos and you're back in your own normal body and
I
we're
don't know what the cost
totally
of that
friends
is for
now.
using this item.
Well,
but
the problem is, so we kind of use these as batteries. The way your friend here alluded to it a little bit. Back when I began delving into Arcana, as you call it, there wasn't a way to do it without necessary sacrifices, I guess you call it. And we kind of had a way of storing some of that energy. We would use skulls almost like batteries. Apparently, that's what I've been stuck in for some time. I know for a fact my body died when he betrayed me. I don't know how his soul is bound to it right now. So I don't think the same like switcheroo dealio will work on it. Because I don't think its eyes are working the same way that ours are. I think
the hammer
that
and axe
body's
it is.
probably, that body's probably a shell of some kind, and it's somehow being maintained.
interesting. Lots of Febreze, probably.
Yeah, probably a bit. I remember a few other things. So your friend also alluded to an event that may have been what I was working on right before I died. There were kind of two things that happened. We were aware of this Mora, you call it, and we could sense there was something on the other end of these energy transfers, and we wanted to see if there was a way to tap into it, I guess, in a way, more directly. We did that a little too well, and I see there's some images of that here. So he starts sifting through some of the papers, and you find there's a few like image depictions of what looks like a person with tentacles coming out of their back.
This seems
And
familiar somehow.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So he slides this paper forward. It looks like a person like in pain, like kind of sprawled out on all fours, screaming, with like these flesh tentacles breaking out of their back. He says, "This unfortunate man was who we were using to, I guess, as a catalyst to attempt to tap into it. We vastly underestimated the size of it. I don't know how, but basically, instead of making a spigot that we could tap on and tap off, it was kind of more like just a big old river straight into this man's body. And he basically got, instead of just his soul, probably several hundreds of thousands more than what he was supposed to have in there.
Oh, that's a lot.
I don't know.
His
what
body kind
capacity
of
you
started
have.
to grow and contort and turn into these weird tentacle things, and it was forming mouths and faces and stuff all over it. It was really messed up. That's what happened instead of what we were going for. My apprentice and I were able to trap it in the nadir, which is kind of this under surface space that we had found recently. But during that measure was when I was betrayed. So I had let my guard down because we were trying to deal with this monster that we had created. And next thing I know, I'm in a skull battery. And briefly, I saw through the eyes of, I think Torg was the first person that you took over, wasn't it? And then I woke up on the ground looking up at the stars. It's kind of what happened. But yeah, somehow when we were attempting to trap Azoy is his name, I guess my apprentice saw that as an opportunity to take me out.
Dick.
Just like
That sounds dickish, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen the tentacles and faces and mouths recently too. So unfortunately, that's not all fixed either.
That's not good.
No, we found them near where we found you.
Because that thing is probably still tapped into the Mora. And it's probably still growing.
Oh,
Is there a way to turn that off?
So it's kind of the spigot in a way.
So that's the reason everyone has magic.
And if you saw it, have you been down to the Nadir?
no. I don't think so.
It
It's
was
really
close.
big then.
It was close to the surface.
It's very big then. So hopefully it hasn't found a way up. I imagine you would know if it had. Probably would be hard to miss.
Well, maybe we walked away from it and it's found a way out now.
Hopefully not.
We were just
I don't
a
really know what to
ladder
do
and
about that.
We were just a ladder and a hole in the ground away from it, pretty much.
That's the deer should be like several thousands and thousands of feet below. That's like, there's basically the surface that we're on, and then several thousands of feet, and then that's the ceiling of the nadir, which is a giant cavern that's miles deep.
It was not that far away.
Yeah.
So it's pretty big.
It packs a punch.
Well, I still
Welcome
just
to
want
the
to kill
end
my
of the
apprentice.
world.
I'm cool with that.
But you may have that in your future of things to deal with. I wouldn't even know where to begin, to be honest. But yeah, we should track down this Appenheimer, you call him.
Yeah, that
Cool.
seems like a logical start.
Well, let's grab your book
Like it.
and make like a tree.
I like how this guy basically invented Cthulhu and is now just like, well, have fun with that.
In a way, yeah.
Oops, all Cthulhu.
By mistake.
Yeah, shit happens.
Yeah, you know.
You can't blame
Sometimes
people
you-
for these sorts of things.
try and cast a spell, accidentally make an eldritch horror that inhabits the underground region of Earth. Yeah, it just happens. One follows.
Fortunately, like, you probably can't screw up any harder than that. So just got that one out of the way. It's only coming up from there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the bar set now.
Yeah. He would ask you, so do you know anything about this Athenheimer? Did he seem like the castery type? I mean, I've been stuck in a battery for thousands of years. He's been up and about and had as much time as he wants to do whatever he wants.
He seemed pretty mundane to us.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the one who sent us in there looking for the stuff that led us to you. Although we didn't tell him about.
I don't think he intended
found.
for us to find you.
Yeah, we didn't tell him about everything we found. Which
He probably doesn't know that I lived in the battery. I think when he tried to kill me, he did it wrong.
Oh.
And I wasn't supposed to wind up in one of the nearby batteries.
He also definitely doesn't know that we took that skull out of that place.
Or the book, for that matter, I don't think.
Or the book.
Yeah, we gotta kept that a secret.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So that'll be a nice surprise for him.
Yeah, we showed him.
We've got that in our favor.
We showed him
Yes.
the orb that we broke by accident and the dagger, I think.
Or
It was like a glass orb.
what would the orb look like? Oh, that was part of our catalyst.
Oh, well, we broke it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We broke how?
We dropped
It was in a box.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. We just smashed the shit out of the box.
That was so difficult to make.
Yeah, my bad.
You should have made the box easier to open.
Yeah, that's on
It
you.
wasn't
Really.
supposed to be. Well, I didn't put it in a box.
Yeah, that's when I'm like, you made giant monster world eater. We broke an orb. Let's call it even.
Yeah, I mean,
True. Yeah.
It wasn't on purpose.
Tentacle
But that-
monster Jesus is going to eat us later. So now's not the time to be upset about your marble.
That box was really hard to open.
It was really.
It's
hard to
probably a
open.
box that Athenheimer put in.
Well, he's a jerk then.
Yeah.
We already know that.
What was
Yeah.
it that he was looking for anyway? What did he want us to
I don't
find?
even remember. I've slept since then. Listen, are we taking this
So-
book out of this place?
Yeah,
Ingram's
I mean,
like,
he's holding the book.
Do you need to take it?
Yeah, we need that book back.
Oh, okay.
What if
We were just asking
what
to be nice, really, but we are taking it.
What if we just have like a little Q&A session and you can, get
Ask
the
some
knowledge
questions, yeah.
directly
But
from the
This
I
text?
would
guy wrote the
very
book,
much-
so
I'd very much like to talk to him.
he's right the fuck here. Just talk to him.
Okay. Would you? Okay. And then, so
Like, you
They-
can have your cool device, or you could just get it straight from the hose here.
mhm.
Yeah.
so
Without the soul sucking.
without going into it, but basically, Ingram goes off on this massive rant of questions. Some very direct, some completely out of left field, unrelated to stuff. But the gist that you'd be able to catch is Ingram's very much focused on this event that happened because from what he said, basically they thought that the progression of magic was pretty linear. Like people didn't know you could tap into the Mora ethically, and they just found killing people as a shortcut. And so this is like a whole new era of history of an event that he didn't know about. So he's very much fascinated by it. And apparently that's part of what he had been studying in his school.
Well, congratulations. You just skipped probably years of research.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to get a grant now.
Cool.
It's be great. I can afford so much more badgers. And
Just make sure you keep it, humane.
no, of course.
Just do whatever you normally do with badgers. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'll walk over to him and pat him on the shoulder and just go, I like the badgers.
Thank you. They're incredibly useful creatures. And they're so cute.
They are cute.
And
I love their little claws, especially.
yeah, they make great stamps. And but yeah, so they talk for some time. After a while, it shifts to the apprentice, and they're talking about like potentially how he may be alive and things. Ingram kind of perks up though as you're talking about like a corpse, body shuffling, all that type of stuff as it's getting into there. And he's like, "Oh, I've got a friend that I went to school with. He knows a lot about that type of thing. That's kind of well, I don't really want to know what he's been doing with it, but he was real good at it when we went to school. His name's DeLillian. I think he's working with the CER right now."
Well, that's good for him.
Have you guys met him?
Nope.
He's a real flamboyant guy. You wouldn't miss him. He's got like, he really likes purple and feathers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Never
Just
met
missed
him in
him.
person.
Big fans.
We know of him.
He's a great guy. Yeah, just tell him you're my friend. And I'm sure he'll probably remember me. We worked together for a while.
Okay, we're not going to do that. Because if he finds out that we're associated with you, he'll probably kill you.
Why?
We had a minor argument. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's
I
fine.
thought you hadn't met him.
Wait,
You know, like you go to someone's house and you put a bag of poop on their doorstep and you light it on fire. You didn't meet them, but maybe they don't like you.
I don't do that. No.
I mean, that's basically what we did to him.
We're
Why?
pranksters, you see.
You know, he had some nice innocent people locked up to do experiments on, and we went and set them free.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the right thing to do there. I don't know why he'd be mixed up with them if they were doing that kind of thing.
He was doing that thing.
yeah.
Has been
I'm going to pretend we
corrupted.
didn't have this conversation.
I agree with
It's
that.
probably best. Yes, yes.
And he,
Especially when the
turns back to-
CER asks about it.
Yeah, they don't. They
Oh, they're trying to recruit me constantly, but they just feel so smothering, and
try to not.
they don't see the value in badgers either.
Probably not.
Those
Like, look what I got
bastards.
this one to do. As he kind of
mean,
like just
yeah.
turns in the room and
I just pat him again on the shoulder. You keep on doing your work. Someday you're going to show everybody what badgers can do.
But
Exactly.
maybe don't show.
I will.
Don't work with them. Maybe, probably.
Yeah, sounds like they've got some shady things. You know, I hear rumors here and there, but I kind of stay out of the politics of all that.
Yeah, honestly, the further away you can get from city business, the better.
But if you don't like the CER, why are you working with this guy? Like, what?
It's complicated.
It's a family resemblance. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
He's wearing his clothes that he always wears.
Yeah, but
They're
he's
twins.
not him anymore.
You know how twins are.
Listen, the more questions you ask, the more information you're going to need to pretend that you don't know.
That's fair. I'll stop asking you guys questions.
Yes.
It might be best. Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Hey, if we find anything that might be useful for your badgers, I'll let you know.
Oh, that'd be great. And then he pulls out a prepared shopping list of items
Fantastic.
that include like the types of food, and there's like little stars written next to the food that they really like. And
Nice.
like, all
I will
sorts of
also
food.
ask if I can find one of them an adorable little neckerchief.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
This is important.
This is
Very much
important to me. I don't
There's
know
not
that it's
very many
important,
people
but
that size them for badgers, so I usually say that it's for a cat, and kind of works.
Okay.
What
A
if
lot of
we
people
told
make
them
weird
that it's
outfits for their cat familiars, so I can usually snag one that way. That's how I got this little cap.
cat people.
He points to the little leather cap on the one with the now dull gem.
I'm gonna be like, I need a neckerchief for a really buff cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like his cat lifts
Preferably
weights.
one that
His
can
neck is that
grow
thick.
with it.
Yeah. This cat's only gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
cat is swole. I mean, he doesn't skip leg day,
No,
Yeah.
and he has
needs a
4
pedicure.
legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, Jake, you feel this weird, like kind of hollowness, lightheadedness in you. Your head feels unnaturally quiet. Like normally you've kind of got those like thoughts bouncing around in your head, but it's like more empty than normal.
Like I'm suddenly in one of those rooms with the no echo padding.
A little bit, yeah. Like you'll have a thought, but it doesn't really trail on and train into other things so much. And you think maybe you're just tired or something, but feels different for sure.
You have found nirvana.
Yeah, and it sucks.
The brain cells isn't firing as hard as it used to.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that you would notice in the pages, so you would see the statues that were in the dungeons, the ones that were holding the basins with the acid. You see like kind of crude depictions of those. You see all sorts of geometrical like symbols and shapes. A lot of them resemble sigils that you've seen in the dungeons that you've been in. You just see like a bunch of random images. A lot of them you don't really recognize, but a lot of them you kind of perk back. You're like, oh yeah, I saw something that kind of looked like that in the wall or whatever, all over these dungeons that we were going through.
Oh.
Let's see if I missed anything. That I believe is mainly it. So as you guys are going to leave, Ingram kind of perks up. He's like, "Oh, you're leaving so soon? Like, it's but are you staying in town? Like, will I be able to continue talking? I have a lot more questions."
We got like some sort of like scrying ball thing you two can use to like call each other maybe, because like we're got some work to do, and the CR probably wants to kill us, so we probably won't stay so close to in town for too long.
We stopped a lot of people in a short amount of time.
We're really good at that.
Yeah, we are good at that.
Well, I mean, you know what jerks all these people are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been
I'm not
around
going
town.
to
You know,
answer
it's just
that,
full of
but,
jerks.
A little bit, yeah.
We're good at two things: getting results and pissing people off, and we're all out of results.
We haven't seen
Too much.
results in years.
We haven't seen results in years.
All right. So, from there, yeah, you mentioned like some form of scrying or communication. And when you say that, Golek asks like, "Oh, is there like, are you usually here in this spot?" And Ingram's like, "Yeah, this is pretty much where I live. Well, study." And with that, Golek's like, "Okay, mind if I leave something behind then?" And he traces with his finger just along the surface of one of the stone columns in the room. And he's like, occasionally you might hear that make a sound or something. Look at it and you'll be able to hear me. And Ingram gets very excited about it and he's like staring at the column. He's like, I don't see where you wrote anything, but okay, I could do that.
Kind of like
And then-
like ring, ring, ring or something, or
Something like that.
Yeah, play some Lady Gaga, and if you answer it within the first 15 seconds, then you get a call. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it goes to voicemail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Golek
Sorry,
has his
Ingram's
book.
not here right now. Please leave a message after the screen.
See your badger chattering.
Yeah, just and then you leave a message.
Yep. All right. So you met with Ingram. You got the book for Golek.
We did.
You did. Anything else in particular that you wanted to do? So you were told that Delilian is a resource on occult stuff, but you also know that he works at the CER. So he may or may not be one of the people that want to kill all of you guys.
I mean, I guess it's which thread do we want to pull? I mean, Golek's got his book. Now it's time for revenge.
Mhm.
And we still
Well,
need
there
to
is
find
one thing I would
an
like to
elf.
ask Golek. I'd like to
I
ask
think you're
Golek
ready for
about
that.
his opinions on ducks.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You ask Golek about ducks. He's like, ducks. Like, oh, you mean why? There's not a duck around here, is there? Isn't
kind
like a
of.
prank or something?
No,
Are they like
I mean,
gateways to the underworld? What are we worried about
Right.
ducks for?
I just hate them. They're
you
foul,
hate ducks.
disgusting.
Well, okay, so I have
I mean,
this
clearly you haven't had them Szechuan style.
thing.
That's fair.
I'm gonna root around in my equipment for the strange rubber ducky.
You cannot
See what-
find it.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, never mind then.
Balls.
False alarm.
did you?
Is
have a
it bad
duck?
if there was a duck and it's now no longer there?
Did you have a dead duck in your bag?
He had a.
I mean,
It
we don't
wasn't
know.
living.
Yeah.
We don't know about the rubber duck, so I assume if I never heard a duck in his bag that it's dead.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're asking,
That is a
character-
frighteningly
Yeah.
unclear answer.
So nobody else has seen it. You've never tried to show it to anybody. But if you
Not even late
don't
night
really look for it,
talking
you
around
can
the
find it.
campfire.
But you have not ever been able to like dig for it and show it to somebody else.
Creepy.
So yeah,
For the last
hate
time
ducks.
I've
They've
ever
always-
seen a duck.
I probably had a bad experience with one as a kid. I don't know. I don't like them.
They are dangerous. They will run you.
What
down.
did you do?
That's also tastes all just rubbery. Just
Rubbery.
nothing
You're
about them.
cooking them wrong.
Foul.
You're not supposed to steam them. Yeah, they are
Yeah.
foul.
Ah.
They're waterfowl.
He has like his entire demeanor is just disgusted. Like he's very upset
Yeah,
thinking
this-
about ducks.
This man hates ducks almost as much as I love badgers.
Well,
That's just silly. Let's not jump to conclusions there.
Yeah, fair enough.
maybe forget about them for now. We'll make sure to steer clear of them.
Yeah, just in case. We'll avoid ponds.
For sure. Yeah, you're not really in a region that there's any ducks. There might be some like by the waterways because there's a few like waterways that run through the town. So I suppose there might be some here or there. Probably not in the city because there's usually like a pretty big drop off into the water. But I bet probably by the rivers outside.
See when they're migrating.
Yeah.
every fall.
On their travels, they saw a duck, and that's when they invented the shotgun.
That's what magic missiles for.
Exactly.
Duck hunt.
Pew, pew.
Yeah.
Level 20 magic wizard just took out a whole flight of them. Just
Good God. Take out the lead one, the rest just fall out of the sky.
Yeah, chain lightning, very useful for that.
Crispy duck.
Practically why I developed the spell. But
This guy.
but yeah, so you guys make it outside. He has his book in his pack. Jake, you no longer hear it like crawling out in pain, or like you don't feel like that itch at the back of your head of it trying to get back at you. It feels not, you don't feel like how you felt before you touched the book. I feel like there's something kind of missing, but you also don't feel like it's
Is his hair turning
sapping
red?
you anymore.
Did you forget high school math?
Me too.
I think I forgot grade school math.
Not because of the book thing.
Just
Just
for
normal
fun.
forget.
Something that happened along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the plan for here? Where do you guys want to go? You know that Athenheimer is probably back in Veshkel by now. And so you could always meet up with the NRC. You know that they have an outpost on the way to Veshkel. And if he's not there, then you could probably talk with someone there to figure out where he is.
Yeah. I'd be.
Or
Go ahead.
you could follow up with Delilian and see if you can get information out of him or anyone else. Golik seems very angry and like kind of bloodthirsty for Athenheimer. And he seemed kind of concerned for a moment when he was thinking about how long Athenheimer's been alive and how long he's had to continue to grow in whatever abilities he has. But you kind of saw like the bloodlust overshadow that thought a little bit.
He's got the red mist.
You know, maybe as
Yeah.
we journey on a little bit, you know, that'll calm down.
We'll just talk about ways we're going to kill him. That'll settle him down, surely.
Yeah.
That'll help.
We'll just walk up to him, step on his foot, and push him over. Break his leg. It'll be great.
That'll be great.
That's probably all it takes.
So, I don't know. I'm all for tracking down Athenheimer. I mean, just cut straight to the chase, but we still owe Specs an elf.
That's true. And I do want to
That's
say
right.
we could always give him the old, like, you got smuts on your shirt, and then, you know, you flip his nose. Obliterated.
No.
Got it.
Yeah.
Get wrecked.
Could do that. Yep. Yeah, he's been with you guys this time, and he seemed real freaked out by all the stuff that was going on in the basement, and kept pretty quiet.
Was it the badgers or the magic or both?
It's like I feel real uncomfortable around weird spells like that. Last time I was around stuff like that, I got turned into a purple skull and swallowed by a gelatinous cube. So
Fair.
Well, bud,
Yeah.
we're going to use some more of it to shove you into somebody else's meat sack.
as long as it's the last time,
I mean,
I think
we
can-
I
hope.
mean, if it's good,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is a little dysphoric not being elf right now.
Anything worth doing is worth doing 2 to 3 times minimum.
I mean,
First, you don't succeed, keep ruining it.
I have a slightly different philosophy, but maybe there's some overlap there.
well, let's go to where the elves are.
Yes. Let's go find an elf who's a jerk.
Okay, that's a fine stipulation.
Yeah, I'd rather
So-
like go after someone who's a real a-hole.
Yeah. So
Someone with
what,
zero friends who might long for vengeance.
What Sockets will say is that if you encounter an elf this far east, then they probably aren't the best of character. Because so the elves pretty much all used to live far west in the Fellmarsh. And he like happily goes into the history of his people. And he's like, oh yeah, we all used to live in the Fellmarsh, kind of went to shit. And, we can't live there anymore. We kind of fractioned at that point. Some of us live as almost refugees in the westernmost part of Ostrovia. The rest tried to hunker down and live in the Fellmarsh, and we never saw them again. And there's people that are kind of loyal to the cause of the elfin people that are kind of hoping to rebuild. I heard they were trying to do a party of some kind to. I've heard they've sent some people into the Fellmarsh recently, and wonder how that went. But there were a lot of people that were unhappy with how things turned out once we were in the western part of Ostrovia. Ostrovians didn't really treat us all that well, and some kind of broke free of the pack and tried to make it off on their own. So usually when you find people that have integrated with Ostrovian society that are elf, they're pretty selfish, pretty in it for themselves, and are just kind of capitalizing off of whatever innate abilities they have. Usually we're like spellcasters for corporations. There's probably a lot of CER people that have been taken in as spellcaster types. I unfortunately was not quite very adept at that. They thought I was because of racial profiling. But I didn't exactly meet the mark, and that's why I was a skull in a cube.
Okay, so maybe we just got to go piss off CER just a little bit more, maybe? They seem like
I'm
they're
sure
all
there's
assholes.
definitely a few more there. They've kind of worked up their way till middle management. No one at the top is an elf. They don't really like us that much. There's kind of you can work our way up, but it kind of caps out in the middle.
So we're looking for a middle manager. That's what I'm hearing.
Probably.
Okay. I was just going to go to a bunch of bars and wait till we saw an elf and then jump them in the bathroom.
I mean, that
You could do that.
Be a middle manager too. They go to bars.
Yes. They you could probably find one. You might take a little bit longer to find one. But I'm sure some of them frequent bars.
We'll just assume that they're a middle manager.
Yeah. Anyone who is no longer with the CER and didn't get turned into a skull on a cube probably is down on their luck at the moment. I didn't really intentionally abandon my people, so I kind of have a distaste for anyone that's out here. So, do what you have to do. I feel a little bit bad about it, but I've been through a lot too.
Cool.
And I'm not going to think about it too hard.
Let's go to a bar.
Yeah.
Clearly, our morals are perfectly situated in the gray area too.
Yeah. So, all right. Is that what we're wanting to do with the remainder of today? Let's find Socket's body.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do that. So I guess do you want to go to what kind of part of town are you aiming for? Are you going for a more rundown bar or a more upstanding one? Like what type of feel?
I feel like we're going to find a middle manager elf at a more upstanding place because of course he's above the peon, but he's not nice enough to be in the fancy place.
Let's look for the high fantasy equivalent of an Applebee's.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that would do the trick.
Sure.
Yield
There
Middle of the
are
road has a lot of
yes.
crap on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Picture of Elf is on the wall.
It's
I
not
hate
too hard to
myself too,
find
it's
those. But yeah, you guys are pretty easily able to identify those types of establishments in town. There's quite a lot of them, especially around. They kind of like border the areas that are like the transition from the more rich parts of towns to the more slummy parts of towns, and so you've got your choice of about two. One's pretty close to the wall, one's closer to the heart of the city.
probably, regrettably, the one further in is going to have more middle managers, isn't it?
Right. And so that basically, you feel like there'd be more people there. And you have potentially more directions to escape in, but also more directions that assailants could come from. Either way.
Jake can fly away. I can teleport away. We're fine.
Yeah.
Hey, you've got fancy new items to try out.
I just insist on carrying my broom everywhere because I'm petty and I'm spiteful and I like to make sure my butt is clean whenever I sit down somewhere.
You're a clean freak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a jerk. The fact that it flies whenever I'm in trouble has nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing at all.
What is the name of our Applebee's equivalent?
Pear wasps.
I was going to say peach flies, but that works too.
Peach flies, yeah.
I kind of like peach flies.
Peach flies.
Peach wasps.
Yeah, we're going peach flies.
Peach flies.
Because they've got
Let's do
fruit
that.
flies in every single bottle of their peach schnapps.
That's
That's
not
part of the
slander.
experience. If you don't get it, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's part of the appeal.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you need some protein in your peach flavored Long Island iced tea,
It's not a lawsuit if it's intentional.
right?
Like, it used to be when you went to Yield Olive Garden, like you'd get their peach tea and there'd be like a peach in it. And this one, you get their peach schnapps and there's, a fly in it.
Yeah, just a bunch
Yeah.
of
It's
fruit
the
flies.
happiest place on earth for divorcees to while away the hours.
Yeah.
It's just a few flies away from a protein shake.
Yeah, instead of having a worm in your
Kilo.
drink, you just have some maggots. It's great.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
you're winning today based on how
So-
many flies you get.
You guys travel inward to the city. And near the heart is the establishment of peach flies. It's a pretty rowdy place. What time of day are you wanting to hit it at? So
About 4 in the afternoon.
Yep. When managers take off just a little early or come in
Yeah.
right when the office closes.
okay.
Happy
Yep.
hour.
Happy hour.
It's a
Right at the
corporate
beginning.
card magnet.
All right. So you guys go during the happy hour. It's a bustling place, tons of people, and of all types. You don't really see a whole lot of CER people in there. Occasionally, you'll see someone that has like the stamp on their armor or whatever, like the thuggier ones, but you don't see any like management types for a while until you're probably there for about 2 hours waiting it out.
I think that seems about right for their service, probably. I mean, that's probably normal
Yeah.
time to be there.
That's how long it takes to get an appetizer. But so where are you guys trying to like get a table and just sit there for a while, or like spread out? Like what approach do you have inside this?
I imagine that we've got to do the thing where we like have a table and like every time somebody walks in the door, you're like,
Mhm.
I was
Okay.
thinking like booth in the corner so we can kind of look out. I don't know. Hiding, looking.
Sure.
you know,
So
walk up to the bar every now and then to order a drink and, you know, survey the rest of the restaurant.
mhm.
'Cause you
Extra
can't wait for
maraschino
the waitress. You got to
cherries.
go right up to the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're at a booth and you've found the bottom of the bottomless fries at this point.
That probably took a
And
minute.
Bottom of the bottomless steamed potatoes.
yes.
Doesn't sound good.
No.
Probably came empty.
Yeah. They you know, you've been there for a bit. Service is kind of ignoring you at this point, just like hoping you'll leave soon. And but yeah, you're there for a bit. It's after about 2 hours that you see what looks like two elves walk in next to each other. They seem to be together. And they seem to be kind of like bickering between themselves. Not like they seem to be kind of heated, but not at each other. But they seem to be like talking about something that's making them angry. And they're both kind of like building off of each other on it. It's just kind of like the body language you're getting from them as they stroll up, and they try to sit at the bar. They're kind of mean mugged by a few people up there, and then they get a booth on the opposite side.
I want to use my medallion of ESP to cast ESP and listen into
Okay.
their thoughts while they argue.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep eating bottomless potatoes.
How many people are you able to? Does it just make you read the thoughts of everybody, or how does it work?
The spell permits the caster to detect the surface thoughts of one or more targets within range. Range is 60 feet. I must designate a direction and then concentrate for a turn in order to hear the thoughts. Each turn,
Okay.
the caster may choose to listen to a different location. The creature is not normally aware of being spied upon. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm just going to focus it in on those two.
Okay. Yeah. So they're within 60 feet of your booth. So you focus it in on these two. Immediately upon you starting to listen, you see like one of them reach in their pocket and they seem kind of confused. And they pull out this amulet that seems to be tied to their bracelet or to their belt, sorry. And they look at it a little bit. It's glowing. And they the one across from the one that pulls it out is like, already we just left. Like, yeah, we'll let them wait. And they put it back in their pocket. But then they continue to bicker. And they're like, so who do you think is going to be the one that takes over the, what do I call it?
Oh, well.
What was the name?
The magic shop.
Yeah. I forget what I named it. Man.
The broken Pimentia grinder.
No, it had a name. It was...
Grundle Butters.
Nope. Pinsley's. That was it. Yeah. So they seem to be muttering about Pinsley's. They're like, can you believe he hasn't shown up for 2 days or a day now? Like, you know, I don't know what he's thinking.
Little do
And
they
I
know
was
he's
like-
a couple tables away getting blitzed on peach bellinis.
But yeah, they seem to be bickering about that. They seem to be angry, and they mentioned like he's already had the things you pick up from this conversation. So they're angry about Tinsley's. They mentioned that he's already had a few like incidents, so they were already thinking of making him not manage that shop anymore, and it's going to fall onto one of their responsibilities, and neither of them want it. And that's what they're upset about.
Mhm.
That's why it never pays to be good at your job, because they'll just give you someone else's.
Yep.
Well,
They
one of these
also,
guys
one of
is-
them mentions like, yeah, I went by his place. He wasn't there. And looked like, looked like he just up and left. He had some paper and stuff left behind, but
What
I didn't see him.
what body is Specs in right now?
Specs is in the body of one of the.
drunk guys, wasn't it?
I
Yeah,
thought
it
we
was
set the
basically-
drunk guy free. Is he in the
Or
young
he was
kid's
the
body?
fighter. He was one
No,
of
so
fighters.
the basically the there were 3 people that attacked the farm,
Yeah.
and you incapacitated all 3 of them. One of them was like a more drunkard old man, and that was the one that you put Golek into originally, and that's the one that you've set free because you've already replaced Golek's body. So you had like one of the other more younger thugs, but basically those 3, you got the. It seemed like they were just kind of like homeless people in the town that the CER came by. It was like, we'll give you a bottle of booze and some money if you go torch this place out. And they're
Okay.
like, okay. So he's in the body of one of those guys. He's cleaned himself up a lot since then. Like he seems to be taking like really good care of himself since he's taken over the body. So he doesn't really look recognizable compared to what he looked like before. But he's in like a human body.
Okay. So here's the plan, guys. They're talking about needing to leave here soon. They got a summons through their magical pager that they need to go. We wait until they leave. We follow them out. Specs, you run up and you ask them for something. Then I cast sleep on all 3 of you. When you're asleep, we run up, we swap the bodies around, and then wham bam, thank you, man. You are in the body of an elf.
You're still going to be left with one extra elf.
Who cares? We put them to sleep, we leave them
He's like
there.
leaned in. He's all excited. He's like, ooh, this sounds.
And
I've
they
never done something
these-
like this.
Yeah, these are those CER assholes. So, who cares?
One of them's getting a promotion, and they're not gonna like it.
Specs, which one of those bodies do you prefer?
And he looks at the 2 of them. They both look pretty similar. He's like, probably the one, and he points to the one that has had the
Pager.
The
keychain on
magical
the belt.
pager. Okay. All
Yeah.
right, that's the one. We
This is
wait.
weird shopping for your own body.
Yeah. All right, we wait for him to leave. We follow. Specs, you go run up to talk to him, sleep, swap.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wake you up. And then we all walk away.
Okay.
You're
It's
in
like,
an elf body.
it's not gonna hurt, is it?
No, you'll be asleep.
Okay.
I mean, probably not. We've never done it.
We've swapped bodies a few times. No one's ever complained that it's hurt.
Is this a saving throw?
Sleep. Put several creatures of 3 or fewer hit dice into magical slumber. 4 or more hit dice are not affected. Let's see. I choose a point. Each creature in the fail is save versus spell. Yeah, so save versus spell. If they're 3 CR or less.
Save versus spell. Okay. UCR or less, save versus spell. Okay. So he would intentionally fail it.
Yeah, our Specs' body would intentionally fail it.
Yeah. Sockets would.
Socket, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's like, okay, are we just going to do it like right outside the door? Or?
We'll let him get
I mean-
away a little bit. That way there's fewer witnesses.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta look for kind of a clear shot.
And then he's like, so I go up to them and what do I say? And he gets all excited and then he blinks out. And he seems very nervous.
You tell him you have a lead on us or Golek maybe.
Or you just run up and say, hey, you dropped your money pouch. I tried to get it so I could bring it to you, but the people at the bar said you have to come back for it.
Well, then they could just check their pockets and have or not have their thing. So
And while they're checking their pockets, I cast sleep.
Okay.
I just run up to them and say, I'll bet you look at this, and then give them one of these below your waist, and then punch them in the arm, and then everybody will fall asleep.
He like makes that symbol.
Kidney shot, and then
Like
run
this?
off.
Yep. That's
Yes,
the winner.
just put that below your waist and say you bet they're going to look at that, and when they do, you punch them in the arm.
That's it.
Assuming you're not asleep already.
I'll wait till they look and then cast.
Ask them if they want a Hertz donut.
Oh yes, that's a good one.
So, and just in case this goes sideways, if combat breaks out, we don't kill that one.
Yeah, preferably. Well, I don't really want anyone to die.
Well, that's
I mean,
why we're
What
putting them to
happens
sleep.
to?
One of them
He
is being
thinks
put
he's
in
like, what
this
happened?
hole.
What happens to me?
What do you mean?
Well, not me, but
Your body?
this-
This body? The
Yeah.
initial spirit that belonged to that body goes back into it. So everything's...
okay.
Now the elf that you're taking the place of, I mean, you're basically killing him. But
Well, you're not. He'll be in the skull until we need to swap bodies somewhere else. And then he'll get a new body. No one's dying in this. Mildly inconvenienced.
Okay. I won't think about that too much.
Don't think about it too
But
much.
all right. I think I can do that.
check, please.
And he like stands up real quick, and he's like, "Wait,
Wait.
When are we?"
We're waiting for them to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to
He
go ahead
sits
and
back down.
pay up first because we need to get our service done before their service is done.
Sure.
It could take half an hour before they get around to us.
Yeah.
You don't want to be notorious dine and dashers and then be
So,
arrested.
are you still listening on them, or do you drop out like as you're talking to
I
them?
can pick it back up. So once we lay the plan out, I'll listen in.
Okay. So, you notice the second you stop listening, he reaches for his medallion again and looks at it, and then he shrugs and puts it away.
So I think he knows that I'm spying on them. Let me try again. I'll listen in again.
So you listen in again, and you see him roll his eyes back, and he's like, "We're on our break." And you hear him say that, and he checks the medallion. He's like, "What do you think they want?"
He doesn't know it's us.
Yeah, I think that my thing is triggering their spell. So
Yeah. You're accidentally paging him.
I'm going to stop listening
Yeah.
and
You
then
stop
start
listening.
listening.
800.
And
You
then
see
stop
it like
listening.
you
At 5.
are watching it light up
Yeah.
as you're listening.
I'm just gonna blow that thing up. Just on and off, on and off, on and off.
And he gets very annoyed and shoves it back in his pocket and stands there. He's like, "Come on, we gotta go.
All right.
Let's see what they want."
Let's
And they
follow.
start walking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've a little ways back. That way they don't realize we're walking out at the same time.
Okay. Sure. You trail them for a bit. And then so you're walking, Sockets is behind you. He's like, so when do I
We'll tell you.
wait,
We'll tell you.
like,
Just
How busy is this street out here?
it's dying
It's
down a little bit.
Applebee's,
So
it's not very.
it picked up a bit because you guys did it like right when people were kind of getting off initially. So it's like the traffic crowd of people going home almost from wherever they stopped on their way home. But so it's not super crowded.
We'll wait long enough for them to get into a position where there's not a lot of people.
Okay.
And then send Sockets up there.
Okay. So you're following them, and you see that they duck into an alleyway. It looks like they're going to cut through an alley
Yeah,
to
that's our try. That's our,
like,
our go.
cross.
Yeah.
Providence.
Okay. So you tell Sockets, like, now's go time. He's like, oh, okay. And he kind of panics and he sprints at them, rounds the corner, and
You just
runs
have
up
him
to them.
tackle him.
And he approaches them. He yells, "Hey, you left your pocket. Stop. And he starts panicking. and screaming.
Uh,
And they stop and look at it. They're like, "What the fuck is your deal, dude?"
sleep.
And Sockets instantly crumples to sleep. The other two,
Need to do save versus spell.
save versus spell. And that's a roll I make, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember if it's save versus saves. Does it roll under or over?
It's roll
Under.
under.
No. It's roll over. It's rolling over your
Roll
target
over?
number.
Rolling over your target number.
Yeah.
So bonuses subtract from the numbers, like the lower your.
No, you need to roll over it. So like my save versus spell number is a 14. So I have to hit
Yeah.
14 or higher to pass.
But it's a plus, a minus in this case.
No, a plus is a plus in this case. So if your base save versus spell is 14 and you have a plus 2 to it, that means it's a 16. And you have to, no, you're right, it is a minus. So that means you would have to roll 12 or higher. So yeah, the plus is a
Okay.
minus in this instance.
This is a minus. Okay. So they should both be at. One of them definitely fails. I think the other one passes.
It's
And
the
we'll heads or tails. Or high or low, I guess. Sorry.
let's go high.
And high, that the one that you wanted to fall asleep falls asleep.
Yes.
Okay. It's a 51 high.
Yes.
Couldn't have asked for
All
more.
right. Yeah. So you see them both turn around. And that was kind of the one that seemed to be like leading them a little bit. So basically, he was walking slightly in front of the other guy. They both turn around. And in the mid-sentence, it's like, what the fuck is your... He crumples over. So guy in the middle turns, sees him slump over asleep, hears a body slump over asleep behind him, and sees that he's next to two sleeping people in this alleyway. And you've got like a moment to act before he's just very confused right now.
Norholen, go knock that one out.
I was gonna try and move silently on him.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Or if he wants to move silently.
Yeah.
Then I can, just.
What's your move silently now? You have a crazy bonus, don't you?
It's a 90 now.
Holy shit.
You move very silently.
I don't actually have, I think, a thing for subduing people
Yeah.
specifically.
You have stab, subdues people.
Stab seduces them.
Yeah.
Um,
ironically, I don't have like wire or whatever. I have some rope that I could maybe just try and strangle him with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, while you're doing that, getting
Depends.
behind them.
I don't know how we'd want to roll that exactly.
While you're trying to strangle that guy, Jake and I can run up and do the body swapping.
Okay. So yeah, just make an attack against him. I mean, if you're just trying to like knock him unconscious, right?
Yeah, I just want to.
Okay.
I was
I'll just
thinking
it's attack like normal, but just if you're specifying that you don't want to kill him, then we'll just roll it that it's like non-lethal.
Okay. Would this be strength or agility for what I'm doing? I guess is then the question.
Probably strength.
Dang it.
10 to hit. I don't think a 10 hits.
Do we have rerolls? Let me see.
Probably have some.
Do you
rerolls
have
check.
him like kind of grappled with the rope?
Wow. I mean, that's probably the idea here is whether I
That's what this roll is for. Is like See if
So
you
Joe,
grapple him.
can I walk over and just use the butt of my axe handle to just conk him on the head, see if I can knock him out?
Yeah, I can say that. So you guys are like, Dan and him are fumbling. And because you moved silently up to him too, like I'll say that, you surprise him. You're like, where the hell did you come from? And he's just by you jumping out, trying to attack him, gets a little bit disoriented.
I don't see that we
That's
have
enough
any
time for-
rules, so good job, me.
That's fine. Eddie, make your attack check to bonk him.
Okay. Let's see. That is a net 20
Okay.
plus my 5 bonus.
You roll for damage.
Oh God. That is 8 damage. I rolled a 5 on the damage and a +3 bonus. So
BFRPG has crits, doesn't it? I think it does.
I don't think they do. I don't know.
I don't think it
I don't
does.
think it does.
But here's the deal. I would normally have a +4.
oh wait,
but if you're
actually,
doing
so your attack
subdue-
bonus gets tacked onto the damage too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's
Or
actually a 10.
your strength modifier.
Is it just strength modifier?
Yeah, just strength
Okay,
modifier.
so then it's an 8. It's an 8. Okay.
Okay. And you were saying, Dan?
I was just saying, just in case it helps us remember next time, I would normally have a +4 on the sneak attack, but when you do subduing damage, you don't get that bonus.
Okay. Makes sense.
So it wound up being correct.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, Eddie, you basically walk up behind them while Dan is fumbling, trying to like put rope around his neck, and he just gets crumpled like rag dolls from your pommel of your axe,
I about
smash
had him.
into his head. Yeah. And he slumps out. You gave him a pretty hard knock to the head. It's definitely gonna leave a mark, but he's alive.
Oh, good. One of them went to sleep. The other one went to sleep a little harder.
Congrats on your promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just lean down over him and go, shh, sleep now, little boyo.
Yes. So, and then Jake and Chuck, you're running up and doing the body swapping.
Yep.
Okay. So, you walk me through what order you're doing the swaps.
So we go up to sockets.
Yep.
Open his eyes. One of us, like, I'll open the eyes, and Jake, you carefully get the skull out and swap.
Okay. You kind of have to like slap him awake before it starts swapping. But
Okay.
you're able to do that.
Okay. So just having his eyes be open isn't enough.
Yeah, because like they're open, but they're not really focusing on.
Okay.
They're not getting like drawn to the effect of it. So
Then we go over and do the same thing to the other one. Maybe
Okay.
once we get the first dude swamped, I'll point out at Eddie, like, hey, make sure he doesn't.
Conk.
Yeah. And then we go
Okay.
and we slap the other dude with the skull in place, do the swap. Now, socket should be in an elf body.
all right, Eddie, what are you doing with human guy? So he's just been slapped awake. You got his human soul put back in his body, and he's in the middle of like getting put back into that and waking up. I mean,
I'll
he's a
lift
little
him
bit
up.
groggy.
I'll lift him up and kind of carry him out of the alley. And while he's coming to, I'll just kind of start talking to just like, hey, you are right there. You took a heck of a spill. And I'll get my little quarter bottle of liquor out or whatever like that. And I'll be kind of holding it top off and stuff like that open, kind of take a swig of it or whatever. I'll just ask him if he's okay or whatever. I'll be like, man, I saw that cart almost ran you over.
It's like, I remember seeing the inside of a bag and like a skull.
I mean, there was a whole cart of bags that fell on you. I was surprised you actually didn't get crushed.
And this weird like whooshing sound. And he like looks at his hands and like a cart? What? And he's like,
Yeah,
now
I think you
just
had a
starting to
near-death
listen.
experience there, friend.
I'll look around the street and find like a cart or a carriage or something like that and point at it and just be like, it was one like one of those. It just nearly ran you over.
It was nighttime and they gave me a bottle and a note and I was on a farm and you hit me, I think.
I hit you. I've never seen you a day in my life.
Maybe it was kind of dark.
I'll hand him the bottle and just go, look, you need this more than I do. You've had a rough day, buddy.
And he's like, when did I take a bath? And
Like, well, I don't know about no baths, but and I'll kind of sniff my arm and be like, speaking of which, I could probably use one.
he seems more confused at like the state of his body. Because like you're saying he took a tumble and stuff, but he woke up and like much better than he was.
Right.
Yeah.
You got hit by a soap cart.
So
How do I
he's
smell
just
perfume? Oh,
very
that's me.
confused. And that's probably the thing that's like confusing him the most and is like not letting him draw any conclusions. The fact that his body was taken care of better than he did.
Maybe he's going to have a life-changing moment, right?
You wake up in your body, you're like, who's been feeding me vegan food?
A little bit of that. Yeah. So he wakes up and
I just tasted weird coming out of my mouth. I better have another bite of beef jerky.
He's like, did I hit my head? And he's like kind of reaching when he crumpled from the sleep, he was standing upright and just kind of flopped under the pavement. So, or the pavement, the cobblestone. So you can see he's got like, he's got a good bruise on the side of his head from that too. And
probably lends a little credibility to our yarn, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, man, I don't want to do those CER jobs anymore. And
those are the worst, man. I wouldn't.
Gets up. He's like, why am I in this part of town? And he looks around for a bit. It's like, okay, thanks, I think.
No problem, buddy. Hey, you stay off. You stay out of the way of those carts. They're dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. And he like starts rubbing his head and just stumbles off.
Get on with you.
Successfully confused a homeless person.
My day's to-do list is done. I've clobbered somebody and confused the homeless.
Yeah.
All that's left on the to-do list is stealing someone's shoes.
Yes.
I mean, could do that still. There is a knocked out elf in the alley.
That's true. I'm taking the fucking elf's shoes.
Mm-hmm. So, there's a knocked out elf in the alleyway.
That's going to be like our
got a brief glimpse at you guys. And then there's the other one that Sockets is now waking up in. And he's like, I think I hit my head when I fell, but it's not that bad. And he like looks at his hands and closes them. He's like, this feels a lot better though. So I guess it was worth it. And he sits up and kind of stretches and moves around a little bit. He's like, yeah, this is great. Thanks, guys. And seems pretty happy.
Now let's get out of town.
And then he starts like looking around in his person and has this weird key thing on his belt. And he undoes that and throws it at the guy in the alley.
Oh, we might want to keep that. Like, maybe.
Well, you see him undo it. So if you ask for it, he'd be like, okay, hand it to you.
Yeah. We don't know what it does just yet. Maybe
You're muted there, Eddie.
Maybe it
sorry, as
magic being cast at you, which could be really cool for us.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm going to take the other elf's shoes, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to look for anything else on his person of interest,
Okay.
including up to a neckerchief that might fit a badger.
Okay. You find a bracelet that might work as it's like a bead bracelet on his wrist that might work as a necklace for a badger. But on his person, you would find a key ring, and should he have? Wouldn't have. So you have a key ring. You have a coin purse with 40 gold in it. Not a whole lot else.
Fair enough. I take his shoes.
Got decent robes, decent shoes.
Definitely take that key ring too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy that Sockets had some papers that are in Elvish. He also had a key ring. He had a few little trinkets. He had like a few rings on, and that thing on his belt. And yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that's different about him. So he had papers and rings in addition to that pendant on his belt.
Yeah.
Well, I will throw the boots in my pack.
Maybe Golik can tell us about the little thing.
So you hand this amulet over to Golik. He looks at it for a little bit. It's like, I don't know. I didn't have a whole lot of time with this flavor of Arcana, but I can mess with it a little bit. And then you see him like wave his hand over it for a second. And see him like moving his fingers above it. And every so often it'll light up and then go out, and then it'll light up and like flash weird patterns of lights at him. And he says, it's like, it seems to light up whenever magic related to like scrying or like any distance communication type magic seems to light it up. Seems to be like dialed in on that particular.
This could be useful.
Type of
If
frequency.
somebody's spying on us, we can get an idea for it.
It's not terrible.
Absolutely.
Now they
So
were-
it's very mundane. It's not like it reacts pretty much on any type of spell in that whole family. So I don't know if they had some sort of code worked out to signal it, or if they had just some really lazy spell that they'd cast in their direction to activate it. I'm not sure.
Well, my ESP was setting it off. So it's got to be.
Okay. I imagine then they just had some lazy directional spell that cast in the area, and it would light up and let them know something.
Interesting. No, we'll hold on to it for a little bit at least.
Yeah.
It could be interesting.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. I mean, if you get scried or like ESP'd like that, it would let you know. It wouldn't let you know what's happening, but it would let you know if something's
Something.
in the area.
Yeah.
Probably while you're in town. I don't know if they had something to like beam in on these guys specifically. So I don't see any other identifying traits or like any other. Sometimes they can leave little marker trinkets on people that are almost like location beacons. I don't see anything like that on these guys. So maybe they have like a physical sample of them somewhere. Not sure.
Well, we'll find out. Or not.
Yes.
Because we're leaving, I think.
Okay.
It might be best before some guards come to investigate our
Yeah.
activities.
True.
Do I need to put this guy further to sleep?
You saw us, right?
Yeah.
One moment. And yeah, he walks over to him and he like kneels down and kind of looks at him for a little bit, holds his hand out, You see some blood start coming out of the ears of this guy in the street. And then as soon as he sees blood, he's like, oh, I think I overdid that. Yeah, let's leave.
Okay. Yeah.
Neat.
Time to go. Time to go. Time to go.
And you guys.
Yeah, everything's fine, Sockets. Let's go.
Yeah. Socket's like, what? What happened?
Right before we leave, like as everybody else is kind of leaving the alley, but before I leave the alley, I'll take a few copper and silver coins or something like that and just kind of toss them around him like they've been dropped or kind of hastily grabbed or something like that. Trying to make it look like a robbery.
He did have a coin purse, so you could like slash it or something and leave it on.
We'll take most of the coins out of it, but we'll leave just a few in there and kind of slash it and call it good.
Okay.
Leave some invaluable coinage behind.
Yeah. Yeah. You take a quick second and leave a man bleeding from his ears with a bonk on his head in an alleyway.
We're good people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As you're doing that, Sockets like kind of looks back and he's like, I don't want to know. And he turns around and is not paying attention.
Okay.
But all right. So you got Socket's body. You got, and we're right at 12, a little bit past. So that's probably where this session's going to wrap up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got a lot of information. It's kind of the info dump that sets up
Perhaps the major conflict.
Yeah. So you know that Golik's apprentice is Athenheimer. And now you may have a little bit more insight as to why Athenheimer was so interested in Veshkal.
Yeah.
And all that.
Not purely archaeological.
Yes. So even more shadiness there. You get the impression, because when you guys had interacted with Athenheimer, he did not ping as magic in any way. Like he didn't.
Okay.
The only time you ever saw him do anything magic related was him deliberately casting from a scroll. So he had a scroll with him that he cast over the cart.
Very managery.
Yeah. But he did not ping. Like you never saw him cast these spells. He seemed to be wearing armor and had a sword on him. He didn't really act like a spellcaster in any way.
Master.
He never introduced himself as one. Yep.
Okay.
So
maybe
you know that
he can't cast.
Who knows? But yeah, so you know he's south of you. Either he's in the town still getting some recruits, or he's made it back to Veshkal by now. So next session, what are we playing? Are you thinking just going straight after him, or are you wanting to spend some time to maybe like gather information, or like what's the deal? What are you wanting to do?
I don't know. I'm in favor of just going for it.
Yeah, let's jump him while he doesn't know we're out there.
True.
If only we could train badgers to attack.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Golik will weigh in and say that like I have spells that scry, but that would be up to you guys because I could do that. He may be
well,
aware
now that we know such
though.
trinkets as the one we've just stolen exist, that might be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Exactly. He says that. He's like, I could get a lot more info about him, but that would let him know that not necessarily that I'm alive, but like
someone's onto him.
He seems to have been taking precautions to not be his self.
Well, I mean, we got it in. We've worked for him before. He said meet back up with him if we need more work. So we can just say, hey, we made more than enough enemies and spent all our money. What do you got for us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely take that approach. Just show up with him.
Yeah.
You know, that place up there with the CR blows ass. So we wanted to get away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely just go straight to him and have that approach as well. So, okay. Yeah. We'll do that next session. So we'll say next session in between now and then is your traveling. And then I'll start next session with basically if he's still at the camp, I'll say if he's still there. And that's where we'll start. But if he's not there, then we'll start in Beshkel.
Okay, cool.
Man, wouldn't that just be a great way to end the whole conflict? Is that he's just chilling out and we run up on him and just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be how we start the next session is pursuing Athenheimer.
Very cool.
All right. Any plugs or anything?
What is today? Friday. Saturday. Well, I guess now it's technically Saturday. Saturday at 1 p.m. Central. We're scheduled for some Forbidden Lands. We may be a handful of people down, so that might get canceled. Sunday night, Jake and I will be over on twitch.tv/SteamStealMurder to play some more Shadowrun. Monday, Dan, Joe, and I will be over on the Lollygaggers playing some UVG. And then next Wednesday, we'll be doing more Pathfinder. And then next Friday, we'll be back for more of this.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. It's a lot of fun running tonight. And we are ever approaching the end of this little arc here.
Cool.
I think if probably next session will be the end. And
Okay.
if not, the session after. It depends on how big the map I finish, like, because I'm making the dungeon or whatever for the end.
Oh, so what you're saying
Depends on how
is
big that is.
I need to get off my ass and prepare what we're doing next.
Yeah. So I may have enough. I might be ready for a play test of the one system I'm working on.
Okay.
After that,
Okay.
We take a night off and
that's my goal is having enough time, or my goal is to be ready to run a one-off in my system in between our games.
Sure.
And then, yeah, we'd be starting in yours.
Cool. All right. That's all we got.
Mega Man tournament.
Mega Man tournament. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.